Welcome to a new tutorial on this channel, guys. Today we're going to talk about 3 possible mistakes you could be making that make you stop in your jibe.
Oi, go, oi, more passion, more passion, more passion, more energy, more energy, more footwork, more footwork.
Well, here we are again, the peak human species, because if you're watching this, you're probably still struggling with the jibe, but that's totally okay because it's such a complex move. And today I want you to be able to identify your mistakes and then hopefully improve on them.
The power jibe is a never-ending topic. If you look at the success of all the power jibe tutorials we made, it seems that you still want to know more about. Even though there are already many tutorials, it's always good to get a refresh and reminder once a year, so this is what we're going to do today. And whenever we don't talk about jibes, we do other tutorials, spot guides, vlogs, trips, so be sure to subscribe if you're new here.
First of all, it's going to look a lot cooler. Keep visualizing, keep practicing. Not being able to find that speed you need could have several root causes. 3 reasons why you slow down and eventually stop in the jibe is a concept I came up with a while ago, and it's important that you keep speed in the jibe because first of all, it's going to look a lot cooler, and secondly, it's going to make it much more effortless. This is something we talked about in a video last year in more detail, so we're going to link it down below, but I'm going to sum up the most important points for you.
Your goal must be to keep the trim of the board level. If there's too much weight forward, your balance is off, you will slow down significantly and in the worst case nosedive and therefore stop. If there's too much weight in the back with not enough speed, your balance will also be off, you'll slow down and stop.
So there are 3 pressure points from where you can influence the trim of the board. 1 is the back leg, 2 is the front leg, and 3 is the mast base. The third one, the last one, heavily is dependent on you doing everything right with the sail. And the critical point is especially when you shift the sail, because it's going to take you a while to get the pressure back into the sail. And that's a moment where the board often tends to shoot into the wind and the tail of the board sinks. And what you want to do is when you come to the new side of the sail to actively steer downwind and bring the sail up right so you get more downforce on the mast base. And it's essentially the same thing you do when you start planing. When you're slow, you have a lot of resistance in the board. So what you want to do is actively steer downwind, bring the sail up right, and harness the power by leaning backward. And here it's very critical to have a good balance between the front and the back leg. And by the way, I'm super curious about which of the 3 mistakes you're struggling with, so please let us know in the comments.
Make sure that throughout the whole jibe you distribute the pressure between your feet so that the board stays level. While when entering the jibe, the pressure through the sail onto the mast base is very important. The moment you switch your feet become very important. If you're sinking in the back and therefore start to brake and lose speed, don't be afraid to bring your front foot super close to the mast base to keep the board straight. If on the other hand you're getting pulled to the front by the rig and in consequence have to sail too upright so that you are about to nosedive, try to stretch your front leg and bring the weight onto your back leg.
And it often is a chain reaction. For example, when it's windy or you're well powered up, it's going to be difficult to shift the sail and power the sail up when you have it on the new side. So it's going to slow you down, which leads me to my next reason why you could be slowing down in the jibe. Generating drive is crucial to make a planing jibe, but of course during the jibe there will be moments where you don't generate any drive. For example, once you're sheeted in and you're fully downwind, the moment you shift the sail, obviously the wind is just passing it, so you're not generating any drive. So you want to keep these moments as short as possible. Now of course that's easier said than done. Let me explain.
Meaning, for example, that you are initiating your jibe on a reach and finishing it on a reach, which makes for a 180-degree radius and therefore a jibe which takes too long and starting and finishing on courses which are not ideal for planing. Instead, you should initiate and terminate your jibe on a downwind angle, which is the ideal course to generate drive. This will allow the radius to become smaller and therefore the time spent in the jibe will become shorter. The second and third error could be that you are taking too long to switch your stance or shift the sail. Perhaps your coordination is not at 100% yet. You simply have to practice the sequences of movements until you don't have to think about the motion anymore while you're in it.
So if you identified this as your mistake, be sure to check out the other videos where we talked about this technique in more detail, and keep visualizing, keep practicing. And one bonus tip, just grab a little bit of a bigger board. It's going to give you more confidence and it's going to keep planing at lower speeds. So in the beginning, it's going to make it a lot easier for you. A common mistake is to enter the jibe with too little speed already. In that case, you're skipping the slowing down part and you're going straight to stopping. Not being able to find that speed you need could have several root causes.
Be sure to get yourself to enough speed while maintaining control, and this could be another problem. You don't have the control to set yourself up for the jibe properly and you lose all your speed. If this is your problem, you need to understand how to control the board when taking the back foot out of the foot strap.
Now this is a very vulnerable moment, because the moment you take your back foot out of the foot strap, you have all the weight only on one foot, at least for a short moment. And since that foot strap is further outside and further forward, naturally if you don't counterbalance, the nose will want to dig in and the windward rail of the board will want to dig in as well.
Instead, and this also depends a bit on the kind of board you're using, the moment you take out the back foot, you want to put more pressure on the toes of the front foot and the mast space, while at the same time getting close to the sail, sheeting it in and leaning back. This will counter the balance and avoid the nose from digging into the water. Since within a short moment your back foot is on the board again, you'll have to account for that too and shift the balance distribution back again. Sometimes it's not your fault and it's just not windy enough to make a speedy jibe. In that case, the only advice I can give you is to use sails big enough or wait for the wind.
And lastly, perhaps you just don't have the technique to get the speed you need. Perhaps you don't have the speed you need. Then obviously you're simply not able to gather enough speed to make a fully planing jibe. In that case, be sure to check our tutorials, we'll link them down below, on how to become a faster windsurfer, or grab a bigger board which is going to allow you to keep planing at lower speeds. So I really hope you learned something new today. If you did, be sure to leave us a like under the video, and if you're looking for new gear, be sure to check out Surf Center, my surf shop. We will link it down below. We're going to help you to find the right gear for your windsurfing progression and to learn the jibe, obviously. And lastly, if you're new on this channel, be sure to subscribe, and I would say I see you guys in the next one. Bye.